Hello everyone, welcome to Brain Blitz Audios. Today, in this episode of BITSAT Practice, we're going to be looking at a unique section of the BITSAT paper asked in 2018. So in a lot of BITSAT papers, you would have a subject called as logical reasoning. So these are basically analytical questions that we have to solve, sometimes based on mathematics, sometimes based entirely on reasoning. So today we're going to be looking at the entire set of logical reasoning questions asked in 2018, and we're going to try and solve them in the easiest method possible. So let's look at our first question asked in logical reasoning. In a code language, if regains is coded as QDF ZHMR, then the word periods will be coded as one of the following. So as you can see, not all of the letters of periods are mentioned in regains. So here we have to use another kind of method, that is to identify the relation between each of the letters. So let's solve this question so that you would understand what I'm trying to say. So let's write down the first word. Regains. R-E-G-A-I-N-S. Now let's write the code which is given for regains. So it is Q, D, F, Z, H, M, R. Now, as you can see, for the letter R, the code is Q, so that is one letter behind it. Similarly, for E, the code is D, and so on. So what happens here is that we have to take the previous letter from the letter that's given so as to get our code. So the point is -1. So the previous letter to that letter in the alphabet must be taken as the code letter. For A, it has to be 26 because there's nothing behind one, so we go to the last letter of the alphabet. So having known the basic idea behind how we created this code, we can create the same code for periods. So P-E-R-I-O-D-S. So what is the previous letter to P? If you know the alphabet well, then it's O. So after O comes P. So O is the first letter of the code language. For E, it is D as given in the question, so we can use that. For R, it is Q. Again, it's present in the question. We can use that. But then again, we're using the same method, that is -1. So D comes before E, Q comes before R. Now, what comes before I? F, G, H, I. So before I comes H. So we need to write H here. And again, it's given in the question, I-H. And then what comes before O? N comes before O in the alphabet. So -1. C comes before D in the alphabet. So for D, the code is C. And for S, the code is R, as given in the question. So we have the code language for periods as ODQ, H, N, C, R. And this code is the exact same option as option C. So for this question, in a code language, if regains is coded as QDF ZHMR, then the word periods will be coded as option C, ODQ HNCR. Let's move on to the next question. The average age of 8 men is increased by 2 years if one of them, whose age is 20, is replaced by a new man. You need to find out the age of the new man. So here we will use the formula for finding average. So for average, so for example, you have some men with each of them having a different years, each of them having different age. Then what you do is you add all of their ages and divide by the number of men, which is 8. So if you were to represent that in a variable, we will take x1, x2, etc. as the age of the men and y as the average. So x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7 plus x8 divided by 8 equals y. So this is the standard formula for this case, for this question. Now, in here, the average is increased by 2 years when one of them whose age is 20 years is replaced by a new mat. So from this question, we can actually create two equations. So equation for the first case is x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7. And instead of writing x8, we're already given the age of the last person, which is 20. So just add 20 and then divide that by 8, and you'll get y as the average. We don't know the exact average yet, and we don't need to for this question. You'll see what I mean when we write the second equation. So this is equation 1. When we're writing equation 2, the average age is increased by 2 years, and the new man replaces the one whose age was 20. So for that new man, let's consider another variable, say z. So x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7, and instead of 20, you write z. Divide that by 8, and you get the average age as y plus 2 because it's increased by 2 years. So y plus 2 will be the right-hand side of equation 2. Now what do we do in order to find the age of the new man? So here, we can subtract equation 1 from equation 2. So let's write that completely before taking out the common terms. So x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 plus x6 plus x7 plus z, that's equation 2, and then minus x1 minus x2 minus x3 minus x4 minus x5 minus x6 minus x7 minus 20, and all of that is divided by 8 because since in both the left hand sides we have the same denominator, and on the right hand side it will be y plus 2 minus y. So over here, x1 gets cancelled, x2 gets cancelled, x3 gets cancelled, x4 gets cancelled, x5, x6, and x7 as well gets cancelled because both the positive and negative terms are present in the numerator, so they cancel each other out. So on the left hand side, you get z minus 20 divided by 8 gives you y minus y plus 2, that is 2. So therefore, z minus 20 will be 2 times 8, that is 16. So therefore, the age of the new man, that is z, equals 20 plus 16, that is equal to 36. So the age of the new person is 36. So therefore, if you're looking at our options, 36 is option B. So option B is the correct option for this question. Again, we need to use the formula for average, that is the total sum of the ages of the men divided by the total number of men. And then since we have two cases, we will take the two cases and write them down, and then we subtract that the two cases to get an equation that gives us the final age of the new man. Next question. Select the related letter or word or number from the given alternatives. So over here, distance is to odometer as blank is to barometer. So we have 4 options: humidity, pressure, thickness, wind. Now this question is pretty easy, but then for those who don't know, let's solve it step by step. So distance is to odometer. So odometer is a device found in cars that measures distance. So here the relation is that the second word measures the quantity that is the first word. So here odometer measures distance. So what is measured by a barometer? Is it humidity? Is it pressure? Is it thickness? Or is it wind? Option D, wind, is measured by an anemometer for its speed and a weathercock for its direction. So therefore option D is incorrect. Option C, thickness, is basically the same thing as length. So it's basically distance or displacement that is being measured when you're measuring thickness. So that is done by a meter, scale, or an equivalent device. Like for example, for small wires, we use vernier calipers, screw gauges, etc. So over there we don't exactly use the meter scale, but what we're measuring is the same thing, length. So therefore option C is incorrect. Option A, humidity, is measured by a device called as a psychrometer. So therefore option A is incorrect. The right option is option B, barometer. Barometer is measuring the pressure of the atmosphere. So atmospheric pressure is being measured by the barometer. So distance is to odometer as pressure is to barometer. So therefore option B is the correct option. Now let's look at another question. This is about queues. So in a queue of children, Arun is 5th from the left and Suresh is 6th from the right. When they interchange their places among themselves, Arun becomes 13th from the left. Then you need to find out Suresh's position from the right in the second case. So we have 1. So in this case, Arun is 5th from the left and Suresh is 6th from the right. But when they interchange their places, Arun becomes 13th from the left. So what do you mean by interchange? It means that Suresh goes into the place occupied by Arun and Arun goes into the place occupied by Suresh. So in the first case, Suresh was 6th from the right. And in the second case, Arun occupies the same place, but his position was given as 13th from the left. So now we know, so for one spot, so for the same spot, we have the position given from both directions. So in this question, first we need to find out the total number of people that are present in this queue. So total number of people in the queue can be given as position from left plus position from right minus 1, where the position of the left and position from the right are for the same spot. So we know the position from the left and the right for the same spot, that is 13 and 6. So therefore, the number of people can be written down as 13 plus 6 minus 1. 13 plus 6 is 19. 19 minus 1 is equal to 18. So the total number of people here are 18. So now we will do the same scenario for the second spot. So for the second spot, we need to find Suresh's position. So in the earlier scenario, Arun was 5th from the left. We don't know the position of Suresh from the right, but we do know that the total number of people in this queue are 18. So again, here we use the same formula. Number of people is equal to position from left plus position from right minus 1. So number of people is 18. Position from left is 5. Position from right, we don't know that. Let's consider that to be x, and then minus 1. So we take x in the left-hand side. You have 18 minus 5 plus 1. Let's calculate that again. So 18 minus 5 gives you 13, plus 1 gives you 14. So therefore, x is equal to 14. So Suresh is at the 14th position from the right in the second case. And that's what we need to find out. So 14th is the correct position. And if you look at our options, you can see that option B is the correct option. Next question. Choose the correct alternatives from the given options that will complete this series. You have 22, 26, 53, 69, 194, and then blank. So we have a series of numbers which we need to find out the relation with them, and then using that relation, we need to find out the next digit that comes. So let's look at the series. So you have 22, 26, 53, 69, and 194. Now 26 minus 22 gives you a difference of 4. 26 minus 53, well, let's calculate it. So you get 13 minus 6, that is 7. 4 minus 2 gives you 2. So you have a difference of 27. 69 minus 53. So 9 minus 3 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. So a difference of 16. And then 69 to 194. So 194 minus 69. 14 minus 9 gives you 5. 8 minus 6 gives you 2. And then there's a 1. So 125 is the difference. So we now know the differences between the two adjacent numbers here. So between first and second, that's 4. Second and third, that's 27. Third and fourth, that's 16. And then, fourth and fifth, that's 125. We need to find out the fifth term here. The sixth term here. So now what do we do? Let's look closely at the differences. Now, as you can see, 4 is 2 squared. 27 is 3 cubed. 16, in the same vein, can be written down as 4 squared, and 125 can be written down as 5 cubed. 5 times 5 times 5 gives you 25. So what can you see? Between the first and the second numbers, we have a difference that is a square, and from the second and third, we have a difference that is a cube. And then it goes in order. So 2 squared, and then comes 3 cubed, then comes 4 squared, and then comes 5 cubed. So from 194 to the new number, we need to have a difference that is 6 and also squared. So the even numbers are squared and the odd numbers are cubed. So here comes an even number next, and so we have to square it. So the new number is 194 plus 6 squared. So that is 194 plus 36. That is equal to 230. So therefore 230, that is option A, is the correct option for this series. So the next number that comes in the series is 194 plus 6 squared, which is 230. We also have another question of the number series, so we need to find out which of the following options will fill this series. So we have 2, we have 9, we have 28, there's a blank in between, then we have 126. So we need to find out a relation that applies for all of these digits so that we can find out the missing digit in the middle. So 9 minus 2 gives you 7, 28 minus 9 gives you 19. So but then the missing digit is in the middle, so we can't use that to find out the the difference. So what do we do next? So notice that we can write all of these as a number plus 1. So 2 is 1 plus 1, 9 is 8 plus 1, 28 is 27 plus 1, 126 is 125 plus 1. So if you notice the digit on the left, 1 is the same as 1 cube, 8 is the same as 2 cube, 27 is the same as 3 cube, 125 is the same as 5 cube. So it's basically 1 cube plus 1, 2 cube plus 1, 3 cube plus 1, 4 cube plus 1, 5 cube plus 1. So that is the idea behind this whole series. So here is the position 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we take the position, we cube the number of that position. So if it's 2, then it's 2 cube, and then you add 1 to it to get the actual digit for that position, which is 9. So for the fourth position, we should have 4 cube plus 1. Now what is the value of 4 cube? 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. 64 plus 1 gives you 65. So option B, 65, is the correct option that fills this series of numbers. Let's look at another question. Select the missing number from the given responses. So what are the given responses? It's a figure. So as you can see, we have this figure with numbers, and the central number is 41. So we need to find out what relation between the four numbers outside gives you 41. And using that relation, we need to find out the blanked out number here, the missing number here. So when we're doing this kind of stuff, it's important to note that subtraction and division are usually not preferred because they don't usually give you a higher value. So here, let's try out addition first. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5. So 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. It's not equal to 41. What about multiplication? 1 into 2 and 1 into 2 into 3 into 5. 5 threes are 15. 15 times 2 gives you 30. So 30. Still not equal to 41. But if you notice, if we add these two numbers, we get 41. So basically, the relation is the sum of the four numbers and the product of the four numbers gives you the required number in the center. So that is a plus b plus c plus d plus a, b, c, d gives you the central number. So this is the formula that we need to apply here. And if you were to apply that to 4, 3, 6, and 2, you will get 159. I'm not going to do it because we can do that later. I mean, let's do it for good sake. So 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2. 6 2s are 8. 8 4s are 12. 12 3s are 15. Okay. Now what about 4 times 3 times 6 times 2? 6 times 2 is 12. 4 times 3 is also 12. 12 squared gives you 144. So 144 plus 15. So 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 plus 1 is 5. 4 plus 1 is 5. And then there's a 1. So you get 159 as well. So this relation holds true. So using this relation, we can find out the missing number here. So it is 4, 9, 8, and 3. So first, we add 4 plus 9 plus 8 plus 3, and then we add the product of the four numbers. So that is 4 times 9 times 8 times 3. So using this relation, we'll get the correct answer. So 9 plus 4 gives you 13. 13 plus 3 gives you 16. 16 plus 8 gives you 24. So the sum of the numbers is 24. Now you have 9 times 4, that gives you 36. And 8 times 3, that gives you 24. Let's multiply that here. 36 times 24. So 6 times 4 is 24. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. And then 6 times 2 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So if you were to add that, that's 4. That's 6. That's 8. So 864 plus 24 will be the number in the center. So 864, just add 24 to it. 4 plus 4 gives you 8. 6 plus 2 also gives you 8. You already have an 8 there. So the correct missing response for this question is option A, which is 888. So 888 is the correct option for this question, which is asked in 2018 from logical reasoning section. So the important thing is you need to find the relation between the four numbers, the addition or the multiplication strategy that gives you the number in the center, which is 41. And similarly, you can use that formula to find the missing number here in the center. And if the question was to find out a number outside, we can also use the same thing by finding the relation between the outside numbers and the center. Now this is a question regarding the days of the week. Today is Thursday. The day after 59 days will be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So we have 7 days in a week. So if I were to start it from Thursday, so you get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then there's Monday, there's Tuesday, and there's Wednesday. So if this is the first day, then you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then the 8th day will turn out to be a Thursday as well. So now we need to find out the day which is coming after 59 days. So what we're going to do, we're going to divide 59 by 7. So 7 times 8 gives you 56, and so 3 is the remainder. So we can write 59 as 7 into 8 plus 3, where 3 is the remainder, 8 is the quotient, 7 is the divisor, and 59 is the dividend. So 7 times 8 plus 3. So what does 7 times 8 represent? It means that in a span of 59 days, you will have 8 weeks passing by plus 3 days. So after 8 weeks, the day that comes after it will be a Thursday. So you need to find out Thursday plus 3 in order to get the day after 59 days. So after Thursday comes Friday, that's first, Saturday is second, Sunday is the third day. So therefore, the correct day that comes after 59 days is option A, Sunday. So Sunday, that is option A, is the correct option for this question. So if you need to find out the days ahead, you just need to divide that by 7, find out how many weeks go out, and then use the remainder, and then calculate the day that comes after it. So if you got Thursday, and then there are 3 days as the remainder, just take Friday as the first, Saturday as the second, Sunday as the third. So that is the idea behind these kinds of questions. Now we've reached the last question of this episode. This question is again based on code language. So if summer is coded as SDNLVR, then the word winter will be coded as one of the 4 options. So let's write down the word and its code in order to get an idea behind how to solve it. So you have SDNLVR. Now at first glance, you might think the first and last letters are same. But if you look at our options, if you were to use that formula and then look at the options, none of these options begin with W and R. So that idea is out of question. So what is the idea here? Well, the idea here is kind of simple and kind of complex. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the last so what we're going to do is we're going to invert the sequence. So when we invert the sequence, you get R, you get V, you get L, you get N, you get D, you get S. So you have -1 here, so the previous letter is taken as the first. Then for the second letter, the next letter is taken. For the third, the previous letter is taken. For the fourth, the next letter is taken. For the fifth, the previous letter is taken. And for the sixth, the next letter is taken. So for even positions like 2, 4, 6, etc., the second letter, the fourth letter, the sixth letter, etc., the next term is taken. And for odd positions like first letter, third letter, and fifth letter, the previous letter to that letter is taken. And then the sequence that we get out of it is being inverted to get the code. So using this ideology, let's find out the code word for winter. So WINTER. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the same idea to find a sequence and then invert it. So W is the first letter, it's odd, so we take the previous letter, which is V. And then we have I, it's the second letter, so we take the next letter, which is J. Then N is the third letter, it's odd, so we take the previous, which is M. Then we have T, which is the fourth letter, so we take the next letter, that is U. E is the fifth letter, we take the previous letter, that is D. R is the sixth letter, it's even, so we take the next letters, that's S. So VJMUDS is that code we get. So we need to invert this to get the actual code, which is SDUMJV. So this is the correct code for the word which is winter. So SJUMJV is the same sequence as that found in option A. So therefore, option A is the correct option for this question. So the question had a twist to it. We need to find the actual sequence around here. So when we inverted the sequence that was given for summer, we got a relation. So using that relation, we found out the sequence for winter, and then we reversed it so as to get the actual code. So therefore, these are the kinds of questions that are asked in code language questions. So you have to analyze the letters from both words, for both the word and the code itself, in order to get a relation. And after that, you can easily find out the relation for the next letter, the next word, that's the word in question. So that concludes this episode of BITSAT Practice. We hope you found this episode interesting. For more of our useful videos, you can always subscribe to our channel, which is Brain Blitz Audios. We have a lot of content here regarding various educational programs such as NEAT, JEE, etc. For getting more of BITSAT Practice, you can always hit the link for the playlist in the description box down below. If you want to access and get notifications about our other useful content which gets updated, then you can hit the notifications button, the bell icon down below. So until the next video, take care, stay safe, bye-bye for now.